All right, show me the money. NFL picks for week 15 are here. Just 4 weeks left in the regular season here. Join me today, great friend of the podcast, my co-Mets season ticket holder, plan members here. Kevin Lillis here. Kevin, how are you?
Michael, I'm good. How are you doing? It feels great to be here.
It certainly does. We got a rare victory Monday too for our football team.
I know. How about that? A very rare victory Monday.
Yeah, first one since October.
Hey, dude, don't even remind me.
Yeah. Also, congratulations to Kevin snagged the final playoff spot in the Spire 2 Y Banana Fantasy Football League. So he is in the playoffs with me and some of our other podcast related friends.
Uh, Nicholas D'Alessio, I'm truly very sorry, but I'm really not.
Yeah, reigning two-time champion Nicholas Alessio did not make it.
Yeah, reigning two-time champion against me.
Yeah. So he is now out. Kevin is in. How do you like your chances this week?
I don't know. To be honest, my fantasy team didn't turn out the way I thought it would this year. I always think that I'm pretty smart going into it, and then the draft starts, and then all of a sudden, a bunch of people that you want to get on your team are gone before your next pick, and there you are, scrambling around. But here I am in the playoffs, hopefully to get to play spoiler this year.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see how Kevin does in the playoffs. I'll update everybody in a few weeks, see how this goes here. But we have some positive news here. I mean, I watched part of this game because I was working. You watched the pretty much most of this game here at, I believe, a holiday party here. So we got the rare Jet win and the Jet offensive explosion. What the hell happened?
I had to go check the highlights. I couldn't believe it. I was at my company Christmas party, and I would check every so often. It was at a place called Mateo's in Howard Beach, and I would go downstairs to the bar in between the company party because there's only so much I can deal with these people sometimes that I have to get away from them. And checking in at the Jet game in the first half, see nothing's going on. Said, "Oh, great, here we go." Really, nothing to fret about or think about. And then all of a sudden, we had Santa Claus visit our company to deliver presents for all the kids and for the families that are in our company. And right before Santa came up to give me a big hug, I saw that the Jets were winning 30-6. And was saying to myself, what kind of Christmas miracle is this?
Yeah, I believe this is what Kevin actually was saying, like when he saw that score.
I couldn't believe it. It was unreal.
I mean, it's wild here. The losing streak is over. They are still mathematically alive for the playoffs. So the Aaron Rodgers miracle watch can continue for one more week.
Do you know I'm not gonna bite the hope anymore? Like they keep saying that the playoffs are like within reach. I'm so done. I can't do this anymore, Mike. I'm so worn out from this season and from dealing with this from season to season to season. It's really frustrating at this point. I don't give me hope. Don't
Yeah,
give me any more hope.
yeah. For me, I'm the same way. I'm like, get to 8-8, then I'll start thinking about it and seeing what the picture looks like that point. Until then, I don't care.
I agree. And you know what the worst part is? We'll get to 8-8, and it's still the last game of the year of the regular season. We will have to pay the New England Patriots.
Yeah,
And it just came across my phone right now that Bill Belichick is going to, or the Patriots are going to part ways this season, at the end of the season, excuse me. And I know that man is not going to leave that franchise without screwing the Jets one more time.
yeah.
So I'm already checked out.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. So I got the sunglasses on. I'm already on the beach.
Yeah, he's already on the beach here, and obviously we saw what we saw in the highlights on Sunday. And what I was watching on giant video boards inside the Heinz Athletic Center for the second half of this game, and the Jets had their offensive explosion. Is Zach Wilson was finally allowed to throw the ball down the field and let it rip, and they had good results. Which, I mean, my question is this, and what do you think here? Like, why do you think it took them so long to decide to actually be aggressive on offense?
I, me personally, I'm not 100% sure that Nathaniel Hackett was behind the plays on Sunday. From what I saw in the replays and the highlights I had to go home and watch the actual highlights of the game. And what I saw was a quarterback that I don't know. It like Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett are so simpatico together. There have been times where I'm wondering whether Zach Wilson has gotten kind of in his head about listening to Nathaniel Hackett on the side only, and maybe he goes to Aaron Rodgers for that kind of like feeling of comfort or a feeling of direction. But sometimes, I know Nathaniel Hackett's is a very good offensive mind. So is Aaron Rodgers, and that's why it's hard to tell. But on Sunday, I want to think that Aaron Rodgers probably played more of a heavy hand, or had given more direction had given more direction to Zach Wilson about performing some of these plays. So that's my only feeling, because he was more assertive. He was more stepped up into it. He was more accurate. He was more all these things that I feel like a quarterback would have given him direction on more so than maybe an offensive coordinator. So
Yeah,
that's my feeling.
I think my feeling, I think this is a organizational philosophy problem that's dated back, I think, pretty much the entire Woody Johnson regime in terms of the way. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin. I feel like they've hired the same head coach 4 or 5 different times, where it's a great defensive mind who wants to win with his defense and wants his quarterback to manage the game, and then that doesn't work in the modern age. You need to be aggressive and actually take chances on offense. And I don't think that's a good mindset to have in a quarterback like Zach Wilson, who has like all the arm talent in the world and needs to take chances to utilize his gifts. But at the same time, he's basically being told, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up, we'll win. And he's in his head thinking as opposed to actually making plays.
I would agree with you, except for Gase, because I don't think that man had a mind at all, defensive or offensively, otherwise.
He's the exception.
But he's the exception. But yes, I would agree with you. uh, Other than 100%, I would agree with you. It's always been this defensive mind, and then I kind of had like this not moment, but like this feeling this evening before we got on this call tonight, where I was just like, you know, we have like everybody reveres Rob Saleh for his defensive prowess. Like he has an amazing elite, defensive squad that he has, and he operates, and he has this pride and joy about it. But sometimes this offensive thing feels like kind of like I don't know, like not a hobby to him, but kind of like a matter so fact, like, this, I also have this kind of deal. But then he has Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers, who are, very well equipped, one, the Hall of Fame quarterback, like offensive minds. So at this point, at what point does the old fashioned idea of the overall head coach maintain and stay as part of this new league that we're seeing coming to fruition with all these young coaches like McVay, McDaniel, all these different new minds that are promoting these different forms of philosophy that are now going to take place? At what point does, Rob Saleh surrender his offensive duties or offensive prowess or mind, and then just operate the defense? An offensive coordinator, manages the offense, and you have someone like an Aaron Rodgers that's able to, well, hopefully he's going to play next year for sure. But I feel like it's more than just a head coach nowadays. It needs to be an amalgamation of a thought process, a culture, a team, which is something the Jets haven't had, and in my memories anyway.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that sort of woke me up to this was like, I don't know if you remember the Raider game on Sunday night a few weeks ago, where I believe Melissa Stark had an interview with Robert Sala, I think coming before the game, and she basically said that he told her it's a race to 20. Whoever gets to 20 points first wins the game. And I think that's not the way you need to play in the modern age. You need to try and put up as many points as possible, not tell your mindset, oh, we only need 20 points to win. That doesn't work in an age where it's very easy to pass the football.
Yeah, that's that kind of bean counter mentality that has taken on sports, unfortunately. There's this idea, you sit in front of an Excel sheet, and over time it is said that if you had reached 20 points, that your likeliness of winning the game is what gets you through. And you can't ignore this mentality that's being seeped into the game. You have to take this as a new coach. These young minds are going to take this and they're going to run with this. But they're not only going to just run with this, they're going to run from the trees that they came from, like Mike McDaniel being from the Shanahan tree, or even like the Bill Parcell tree, or a guarantee you there's going to be guys from the Bill Belichick tree. There are going to be guys that are going to they're going to want their guys to put their foot on the necks of the other team, and they're just going to say, keep going, keep getting those points. I don't care if we hit 20. I want to hit 40. I want to hit 60. I want to hit 80. Just keep going. And that this is where I'm kind of on the I'm on on the edge with Salah. There have been times where he has shown me flashes of being. I love his enthusiasm. You can't find it on a sideline anywhere in the NFL. The man loves seeing his guys win, and he has an actual assistant to prevent him from running onto the field. Like there are not many coaches who have that, if any. Um, it's just, but he has to that the mentality of hitting a number, and then your odds of winning are there, so that guarantees a win. It doesn't. It's a game. There's gonna be no one expected Aaron Rodgers to tear his Achilles tendon on the fourth play or fifth play of the first game of the NFL season. We were an NFL. We were a playoff contender on the before he did that. So it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I'm the bean counter days are killing me right now.
Killed
But
it because with the defense they had, they basically wasted it by trying to just like do nothing and win with just on the defense.
exactly, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and now they're still mathematically alive. You know the playoffs are a long shot. Yeah, they have to basically run the table and hope that a bunch of tiebreakers go their way. And probably their hardest game left is up on Sunday here against the Dolphins, who beat them on Black Friday in the Hail Mary game. We had Tim Boyle for the pick. He ends up now he's no longer with the team. Now we have an interesting spot of the Dolphins. Short week coming off a loss late on Monday night. They blew a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter. Tyreek Hill is now has an ankle injury, had in and out of that game here. So what do you think we're in for on Sunday with Jets Dolphins?
I think we're in for a repeat of Black Friday, and I think it's gonna be a bloody Sunday. It's not gonna be good for us, especially because the Dolphins are coming off a loss. Um, Now that Belichick is parting ways with the Patriots, or the Patriots rather are parting ways with Belichick this season, the Jets have always had two owners, and it's been Woody Johnson and Bill Belichick. And I'm sorry to say for all those Jet fans out there that Mike McDaniel is the next owner of the New York Jets. The man, watching him in the highlights on Black Friday against the Jets, he is taking on the mantle of giving it to us. And it's another AFC rival. We never like he is this is something that the Jets have yet to comprehend, and it goes back to what you said about the Johnsons not changing any of the culture or anything like that, but something needs to be done. Like, Robert Saleh is 44 years old. He's a young coach. Mike McDaniel's 40 years old. He's also a young coach. When you see the two of them coaching, do they have unorthodox coaching styles? Yes, absolutely. But McDaniel probably has the most unorthodox, and he also has the most high octane offense that I've seen. And unfortunately, that offense is in our division. And I'm just saying that the next 6 to 10 years are going to be pretty miserable, I think, because I think that McDaniel's going to be an effective coach for the Dolphins. And I think this Sunday is going to be a bloody Sunday for the New York Jets.
Yeah, I think in terms of this game here, I think the only shot the Jets have to actually win this game here is their defense is capable of slowing them down. They're gonna probably that game. I think at best to hold them in the 20s, but you have to have this mentality have the second half and actually be aggressive on offense. You're not holding the Dolphins at 20 points. You are going to have to score points if you want to win this game.
Absolutely. And you can't see a repeat of what we saw on Sunday. The Texans were a good team this year that were hampered by a lot of injuries. And we can't not waste. We can't not take advantage of the first half of a football game and then all of a sudden score 30 points in the second half of a football game. It's not fair to the defense. It's not fair to the offense. It's not fair to anybody on the team. So if Zach Wilson wants to remain on this team, if he wants to have a viable shot of being a backup for Aaron Rodgers next year, if he wants to be tradable, apparently all of a sudden that seems to be the latest conversation that's coming up. He has to be able to go in on Sunday against Miami, and he has to be able to do the same thing that he did yesterday, but he has to do it in the first half. I can't sit around. We can't sit around in the second half and wait for this 300 passing yard, 2 touchdown finally quarterback showing up that we should have had all season. It's just we can't wait for it.
Yeah, and it's also a lot of this is me play calling too. Like, stop running into
Yes.
every first down. Stop like going like run, pass. Like, take shots down the field. Use play action. Like, mix things up. I know there's not a lot behind Garrett Wilson on the receiver core, but there's enough there. You can make something happen.
Oh, definitely. 100. I 100% agree with you, Mike.
All right, so we'll see what happens to the Jets here. We'll see if they win and make the Rodgers conversation going into Christmas Eve interesting. I don't believe TMZ has any scoop on whether he's actually come back or not, but we'll go to the pick segment, which is why you're here. Our buddy Phil Frietto was here last week. He went 1-2 on the week. He had the Lions laying 3 against Chicago. They ended up getting crushed in that game. The Eagles getting 3.5 against the Cowboys. I like the play, but it didn't work out for him. He had the Browns getting 3. Our old pal Joe Flacco ended up bailing him out there late. And they won by 4, so he covered that one. 1-2 for Phil.
I haven't seen Phil or talked to Phil in a long time, but not too bad.
Yeah, I had a rough week. I went 2-1. I forgot to change the W and the L on the bottom here. I had the Chiefs laying a 2.5. If Kadarius Toney's on sides, I win that play, but I didn't, so lost there. I got a push in that ugly ass 3-0 Raider Viking game that the Raiders getting the 3 points. And then I lost on the Ravens because they won in overtime by 6. I ended up needing the 7. So 2-1 for me last week.
All right. Well, I mean, let's see how you do this week, Mike.
Yeah. So on the year, team challengers 22-20. I'm 23-18-1. So it's very close right now.
22-20 was the visitors?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's see how I do this week.
We will see here. Let's get to the pick. The reason why we're here. So Kevin has to guess. You can go first. Where are you going to pick number 1?
I'm going with the Dolphins laying -9 against the Jets because I can't talk about this anymore. That's what's going to happen. I know the Jets had a great game on Sunday against the Texans in the second half, but it doesn't matter. They're going to show up at Hard Rock Stadium and they're going to fall victim to this high octane Dolphins offense, and that's it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. We spent enough time on this podcast talking about the Jets.
Yeah, for me, I'm not touching that game because A, I need to see the Jets do it again, and B, with Tyreek Hill's injury, I want no part of the Dolphin half the line. So, like, you can take it. You're probably on the right side of the line, but I'm not going near it.
All right. Well, we'll see how your record shows up when I even everything up at the end of this week.
All right, we'll see. Where are you going to pick 2?
I'm going up to Buffalo. I'm picking the Bills -2 against the Cowboys. The Bills had a great game, albeit the referees had to have their take on everything against the Chiefs. But I mean, it doesn't matter. The Cowboys are a very good team this year. I'm sorry, I'm also playing Will Smith in our fantasy league, so I gotta root against him and his team. But they're going to be going up to Buffalo, and I don't care. You're playing Buffalo in December. That's not an easy place to play. And the way that the Bills they are in, if they win, I mean, they're already in the Super Bowl rumor talk about, hearsay type thing. But if they win on Sunday against Cowboys, they're back in the Super Bowl conversation.
Yeah, I think that line's fascinating too. If you look at that game, I mean, Dallas has the big win on Sunday at home against the Eagles. They go to 10-3 on the year. They go on the road. They're 2-point underdogs, the Bills, which doesn't make sense on the surface here, but like
Mhm.
in the desperation of the Bills, I could see why that play makes sense.
Yep. So we'll see. It should be a good game on Sunday. Two back-to-back great games: Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles, Cowboys.
All right, so that's pick 2. We're going to pick 3.
Pick 3. I'm kind of being lame here, and I'm picking the Monday night game. Eagles -3.5 against the Seahawks. It doesn't matter what people say if Geno Smith is available to play on Monday. But it doesn't matter. As of right now, the Eagles they're the best bet for the Monday night game. Again, they didn't have their best effort against the Cowboys last week. Excuse me, but they'll make it up in Lumen Field in Seattle, which is kind of crazy to think about how like Lumen Field was held to such high regard of being the 12th man and all that. But those days are long gone. Pete Carroll is, on his sunset years, I think, with the Seahawks. No matter how good he looks throwing passes in the practice field, it doesn't matter. The Eagles are gonna me hopefully, because I got Jalen Hurts on my fantasy football team, plays really well and wins that -3.5.
Yeah, it feels like a get right spot for the Eagles. I do feel like obviously coming off of 2 bad games where people are gonna start doubting them here. Seattle's banged up. Gino's got the groin injury. I don't know if he's gonna play. Lock in the number early if you like the Eagles here. That number could skyrocket Gino's to play.
Yep, we'll see what happens.
All right, so you're on the board now here. Pick number 1. Playing the Big Wood. 49ers laying 14, Arizona against the Cardinals here. I don't think there's any team right now playing better football than San Francisco. I think they are playing a great brand of football right now. Arizona coming off the bye. I don't love the way they come out of the bye with the situation here with this team. I think that obviously Kyler being back helps their offense out, but San Francisco's a great defense. San Francisco's a lot to play for. They know that they have the top seed on lock if they can run the table here. I think they take care of it. I'll lay the points, but I'll take the 49ers my first pick.
I mean, that's a great pick, Mike. I'd expect them 49ers to go through the motions to win, but we'll see. That should be a good game.
All right. Pick 2. I'm going to Saturday night here. I'm going to take the Broncos getting 5 in Detroit against the Lions here. And I think this one, I love the number here for Denver. I think Detroit's defense has been very sloppy of late. They lose on Thanksgiving. They get pushed around by the Bears twice, nearly blow a big lead against the Saints. And 5 is too big for this night here. Denver plays defense very well. Denver has won 6 of their last 7 games to get themselves in the playoff end here. And I like the way they're playing. I think it's a 3-point game, regardless of how it goes here. And I'm getting 5, so I'll take the Broncos, pick 2.
That's a good pick, Mike. I mean, I have faith in the cardiac cats that have. I just found out that that's their nickname lately, but that's definitely a game I'm gonna have my eye on Saturday. I love watching Detroit play, and I kind of like seeing Denver fail. So we'll see what happens on Saturday.
All right, that's pick 2. And pick 3, I'll start it off here for the video people with a little, go
Tommy DeVito,
Tommy Cutlets, Giants getting
Tommy
6 in New
Cutlets.
Orleans against the Saints. And this is one like the Giants are playing much better defensively. They've won 3 games in a row with DeVito at quarterback here. I'm getting 6 points against the Saints, who are not very good. You would agree with that, Kevin?
Yeah, they're not very good.
Yeah, and I know New Orleans' home field advantage is tough, but I just don't like this team. And I think 6 points the way the Giants have been playing is way too many. They feel like they have a lot of momentum on their side here. And I know they see that they have a runway in the playoffs. They can get hot down the stretch here with the Eagles stumbling a little bit. I think they're right in this football game. May not win because going to New Orleans is never easy, but 6 points is way too many the way the Giants are playing. I'll take it, pick 3.
That's a great pick, and Tommy DeVito has earned his right to remain with this team. And he is kind of like a hometown hero right now. I kind of wish the Jets had that kind of spunk right now with a quarterback from the local area.
Yep. So to reset the picks for the week here, Kevin is going with the Bills laying 2 at home against the Cowboys. The Eagles laying 3.5 in Seattle on Monday night. The Dolphins laying 9 on Sunday against our Jets. My picks: the Big Wood 49ers laying 14 against the Arizona Cardinals. The Broncos getting 5 in Detroit against the Lions, and Tommy Cutlets and the Giants getting 6 against the Saints in New Orleans here. So those are your picks for week number 15 on the podcast here. Coming up next week on the podcast, and we'll be joined by a good friend, Nick Frietta here, goes to the Sky Guys podcast. We're going to talk some Giant football on Christmas as they're playing the Eagles. The game that got a lot bigger over the last few weeks.
I'm in between a Frieda sandwich. You had Phil Frieda last week, and now you got Nick Frieda next week.
Yep, you're the meat of the sandwich.
I'm him.
Yeah, so the Friday Bros have made late appearances this year, but they are here.
Yeah. Well, I had to make an appearance at some point because I saw Mike Kelly made an appearance. And I
Yeah,
was saying, how come I haven't shown up yet?
yeah. Mike Kelly made his debut this year.
Hey, he finally got on the board.
Okay. He's on the board here. Kevin, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it. People want to follow you on social media. How can I do that?
You can catch me on Castro Photo on Instagram / Castro Photo. You can catch me there. That's really the only place that exists now in social media. I'm trying to minimize it as much as possible at this point.
Probably a wise wife decision.
Yeah, I think so. But you can always, get me at any time. Everybody, the people who I like have my number.